Well, good morning, my friends. So, I've decided that today we are going to film a current reads update on my October TBR situation. Because I plan to get a lot of reading done today. We'll see. It doesn't always happen. The road to hell is paved with good intentions. That's a thing, right? So we'll see how we go. But first we are going to need to discuss something pretty big that happened in my life, okay? My cat is meowing outside my window. Oh my god. I don't know if I've ever shown her on my channel, but this is my fat cat. She's so beautiful. Her name's Gypsy because she was a stray that we sorry, darling. I'm sorry. She was a stray, actually. She was skulking around the outside of our house. We would feed her. And then one day I decided to give her a cuddle. And she was the sweetest cat. And then I started bringing her into the house and getting her to meet the other kitties. And then we decided to keep her forever. Hi, darling. You're a good girl. Okay, so the big significant thing that happened in my life, guys, is I saw a screening of A Little Life with my bestie Bob, and it has really messed me up emotionally. Okay, obviously I feel like a lot of people on the booktube space know about A Little Life. If you don't, it is people call it trauma porn. I tend to disagree with that, but I will say that it's very harrowing. It's a very hard read emotionally, and every time I interact with this book, it destroys a little bit more of my soul. Like, every time I read it and watch it, apparently, it's like someone's destroyed a Horcrux, you know? So I saw a recorded version of the play, like I said, with my friend Bob on Friday night. It is now Monday morning, and I still have not emotionally recovered. And I knew that was going to be the case. I knew that watching the play would put me into a really, I call it an emotional slump, where I just feel sad and melancholic, and I just don't know if there's really a way to move on other than to just like keep on keeping on. But what I will say is, seeing the play, which FYI, if you have the chance to go and see it and you have read A Little Life and you enjoyed it. If you love A Little Life and you have the chance to see the play, please go see it. Please go see it. The acting, for the most part, there's one actor, the guy who plays Harold, I was like, why is your voice like this? Like, why are you so extra right now? Apart from him, everyone was great. The soundtrack and the music was great. The way that they managed to do an 800-page book in a 3.5-hour play on stage in front of a live audience was amazing. I think it was such a good job. So yeah, definitely see it if you want to see it. Obviously trigger warnings for everything that happens in the book, and also it is quite graphic. Like, even Bob at one point, he said something like, that's the most visceral thing he's seen in a movie, you know? So like I said, reading it has put me not only in an emotional slump, but I really want to reread A Little Life because it's been 4 years since I've read it, which I cannot do. I have got October reading plans. You guys know this. So I cannot throw my plans away just because my emotions and my soul want me to experience more heartbreak. So I powered through. My cat is being... You're being so cute. Gypsy, she dribbles when she's happy. When she's comfortable, when she's feeling safe, she dribbles. And she's dribbling, and it's so sweet. You just wanted some attention this morning, didn't you? I think so. So yeah, like I said, I've powered through. I'm definitely going to have to reread A Little Life ASAP, but it's not going to happen this month. So let's talk about Murder in the Family by Kara Hunter. She's so confused. She doesn't know who I'm talking to. Bless. Murder in the Family by Kara Hunter has been, I would say, popping off on BookTok quite a bit. The tagline is, one body, 6 experts, can you solve the crime before they do? That, for a thriller or for a mystery, is a very interesting concept. And the entire book, I'll give you a little flip, is told in text messages, screenshots, voice recordings, articles, yeah, and a couple of maps of the location of things. Basic plot, because I had no idea what the plot was going into this, is we have our main character, for the lack of a better word. His name is Guy Howard. 20 years ago, Guy Howard's stepfather, Luke Ryder, was murdered. No one was ever convicted for the crime. Like, it was never solved. And yet 20 years later, Guy has decided that he wants answers once and for all about what happened to his stepfather. So he's contacted by a director who produces true crime shows, TV shows. The producer, gathers 6 experts. So we've got like a journalist, a forensic scientist, a psychologist, a couple of detectives, and gets them to basically dig up everything from this cold case. And like I said, I enjoyed the reading experience. It was, am I tilted? Oops. I can't. I'm sorry. And focus, Steph. Focus. And they're going through all the information, like old suspects, and they're trying to find a motive, and they're trying to find a murder weapon, and they're trying to put together a timeline of events. And all I'm going to say is that while I loved the reading experience, I thought it was so fun. I listened to the audiobook and followed along with the physical book, so it was a full cast audiobook, and I loved that. It was really, really well done. So while I love the reading experience, and the enjoyment I felt while reading it is probably at a 4.5 star, the actual plot brought it down so far for me. So I told my bestie Sarah something, and she was like, well, I can't really read it now because I know I'll be looking for the thing you've just said. All I'm gonna say is I guessed the murderer and the murder weapon like ridiculously early. Like, sometimes I'll guess something and then like 50 pages later it happens and I'm like a genius. This one, I have never guessed the ending of a thriller so quickly. Never. I've read some predictable thrillers. This one, I mean, I can't believe how quickly I solved it. I cannot believe how obvious it was. And I can't believe the people, I mean, live, laugh, love. Read whatever you want. If people have not predicted the murder in this one, I'm so happy for them, because that's a better better reading experience. What I'm going to say is, I am super dense. I didn't read this book actively trying to solve the case. I was just going along for the ride, and I would have a thought here like, oh, it could be that person, and then I dismiss it. But it was too easy. It was too easy. It was too convenient. Even one of the experts, when everything is revealed, goes, how do we not see that coming? And I'm like, yeah, I don't know how you guys didn't. You're experts. I'm a true crime enthusiast, but I'm not an expert by any means. Anyway, so we're moving along, because I've been talking for way too long at this point. The next book I read was Not Your Ex's Hexes by April Asher. This is a sequel to Not the Witch You Wed. This one follows the middle sister of the triplets, Rose, and she decides to enter an arrangement with a half demon named Damien. They're just going to be friends with benefits, basically, and they're both cool with that. Neither of them wants a relationship when the book starts, but with a friends with benefits situation and a romance, we all know what happens. I really enjoyed this. These books are smuttier than I remember. I thought they were pretty tame. There was like not a lot of smut, but when there was smut, it was pretty graphic, so that was fun. But the only thing I didn't enjoy is that there is a lot of other stuff going on in this book besides the romance. I am very much like, if I'm picking up a romance, I think 80% of the plot should be about the romance. Should be about the main 2 characters. If there's some side plots, or we're going to try and mention family or work life, that's fine. But this was a lot of other stuff. like a lot of other things were happening, a lot of other characters' problems are getting brought up, and I kind of just wanted to focus on these two, like for how their relationship went. Like they should have spent probably a bit more time together, or like had some more on-page scenes together. I still enjoyed it. It's just like it was a little bit too much of other stuff and not so much about these two characters. And can you relax, my love? You're okay. You can keep having your bath. That's... Hey! No biting. No biting. Do you want to lick it better? Hey. Hey. Thank you. Lastly, I have the book that I'm currently reading. So I'm only 80 pages into it. I just started it late last night, and it is The House Across the Lake by Riley Sager. This is... Look how beautiful this book is. The colors, it is a vibe. So far, what's happened is we're following a woman named Casey. Her life is pretty tragic. So she's staying at her like family's lake house, and she's basically just been like observing and interacting with a couple that have started staying in their lake house across the lake. So an ex-supermodel and like a tech, I would say giant, but just a guy who created an app. And we're a little bit sus of the husband so far, as per usual when it comes to domestic thrillers. All I'm going to say is I hope that this has a Riley Sager twist or something, because right now this is giving me the same vibes as every other thriller I've read, where we have an outside party observing two people in a relationship and things going wrong. Please, I'm hoping so badly. Like, I'm enjoying this, but if it is your standard watching an abusive relationship and then inserting themselves into the situation and then things getting confused, like, please, Riley Sager, I am begging, bring some Riley Sager zest to it. I really want to finish this today. I also want to finish another book. I go back to work on Thursday, so today is Monday. I have a couple of days left of my annual leave, and I have not made enough progress in my TBR, mainly because a little life stuffed me up for a couple of days there. Like, really destroyed my soul. But I am hoping to get through at least 2 books today, hopefully 2 books tomorrow. I'm so ambitious, aren't I? I've got like the highest of expectations. But anyway, I'll keep you updated if I finish books today, which I will. If I do finish books today, I'm gonna come back here and update you guys. So I will hopefully see you soon. I finished a book today. Boom! And it's like still, you know, it's only like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So I'm definitely gonna start and finish Positive Vibes. Finish another book today. I loved this book. It was not what I expected at all. I would seriously suggest do not look up anything going into this book. Don't even look up the genre. Don't look up the basic plot. Don't read the back, because I think that might spoil it as well. I'm not going to spoil it. All I'm going to say is it was good. The plot, the characters, they all took me places I did not think this book was going to go. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. I really, really liked it. Basically, we follow a woman named Casey. She is a famous actress who's been a widow for about 1.5 years when the book starts. And she's at a lake house. She's getting out of the public view, and she sees a woman floating in the lake. And she goes and saves this woman, and it turns out it is her new neighbor who lives across the lake. Her name is Catherine, and she's there with her husband, Tom. They are both famous as well. And obviously, Casey, who is mourning the death of her husband, she drinks all day. She is quite the alcoholic, which she kind of knows. She knows that she spends all day drinking, but she also decides to start spying on her neighbors. She has binoculars that her husband... I think he bought them, and she just watches them, and she kind of starts becoming friends with Catherine, but she's like sus on these people, like something's not quite right there. That is literally all I'm going to say. When I first started reading this, I got the same vibes as The Woman in the Window, and I thought, please do not be the same as that, and it ended up being such a different vibe. I would give you some books to compare it to, but again, I feel like if you make the connections, those will also be spoilers. So all I'm going to say is if you like Riley Sager, give it a shot. I really, really enjoyed it. I think if I had to rank the books, because I've got my Riley Sager books just on the shelf behind you guys, I think I would place it 3rd. I think my favourite Riley Sager is Home Before Dark, then Lock Every Door, then The House Across the Lake, then Final Girls, then Survive the Night, and then whatever that other book is. I don't even own the other book. What's it called? Something about lying? The Last Time I Lied? Is that what the book is called? I read it once and I did not enjoy the reading experience. I don't know why. I just thought it was such a bad book. The Last Time I Lied is my least favorite Riley Sager book. Like, I don't even own it. That should tell you just how little I enjoyed The Last Time I Lied. I haven't read The Only One Left yet. It is on my stack behind the camera. But Riley Sager, man, I think after The Last Time I Lied, which I think was his second book, ever since, apart from that one, I've loved all of them, and I'm so glad I read this one today. I have no idea what I'm going to read next. I might jump into Cloud in a Cornfield 2, because I know I have that one on audio, or I might pick up Ward D by Frida McFadden. I'm in the mood for an audiobook now, but I will keep you updated. Maybe halfway through whatever book I start reading next, and then at the end, if I finish it today, which I will. Also, I have also got the 6 creature features, the Amazon originals by a bunch of really famous authors, horror authors. I don't remember any of them now. I think it's Joe Hill, Grady Hendrix, Josh Mellerman. There's 6 authors that have all written like creature feature novellas just for this Halloween, I think. So I've got the ebooks and the Audible editions as well. So I'll hopefully listen to 1 or 2 of them today, because they're all like under an hour, I think. They're all really short. But yeah, I'm going to find something else to jump into, and I will keep you updated if anything happens. I said I would update you guys when I got halfway through the next book. I definitely didn't do that. I was just in such a reading zone today that I actually finished 2 more whole books. So let's discuss. I started and finished It Will End Like This by Kyra Lee. This is a contemporary YA retelling about the Lizzie Borden murders, and I did not love it, and I'm so sad, because it's a beautiful cover. It's a hardcover. It is a true crime story that I've watched many a video about. I find it very interesting, especially for a case that literally will never be solved. Like, we all know what happened, but we don't really. This book was not it, and I'm so sad about that. I think I got about 150 pages in, and I was about to DNF it, and I thought, Steph, just stick it out. The reviews on Goodreads weren't terrible. I'm not even going to keep it. I think I gave it a 2.5 star. It is such an average book. Basically, we follow these 2 sisters, Charlotte and Maddie, after their mum's death, and they are both struggling mentally, as anyone would be, and they're fighting with their dad and their dad's new girlfriend, and it felt very repetitive. It was the same fights and the same conversations over and over again, and obviously I knew what the ending was going to be, because it's based on a true crime case. So I'm actually going to be unhauling this one, because yeah, I didn't enjoy it. So that is getting donated to a charity shop. But the book I just finished and I actually really enjoyed was Cloud in a Cornfield 2, Friendo Lives. This book is a direct sequel to the first book. It takes place a year later, but it follows the same characters. We follow Quinn a year after the first massacre, and basically, because of things that are happening, she gets drawn back to the town, is it called Kettlecorn? Kettle Springs. She gets lured back to Kettle Springs, basically, and there is a whole new set of attacks, and it's basically like the first book again, but I still really enjoyed it. I don't know, there's something about Adam's writing style that's very easy, and teen slashes, like, it just gives me Scream vibes, like a masked killer going around and murdering a bunch of teenagers for what they think is a justified reason. I loved it. It was good vibes. So this one I will be keeping. I gave it 4 stars. So I actually, finished 3 books today. So I finished all of these 3. If I was a slightly smarter person, or wasn't as lazy, I would add up and see how many pages I read today. But I'm not going to do that because I'm lazy. But I will tell you the next 2 books I plan on reading. Hopefully I'll read these tomorrow. I do want to see A Little Life again before it stops screening in Melbourne. I don't know. I'm not emotionally ready for it. It's basically, I'm going to be hurting my emotions on purpose. But I don't know if I'm seeing it tomorrow or if I'm going to wait till Wednesday. But regardless, in the next few days before I go back to work, I want to read Hide by Kirsten White, which I'm just going to read the paperback. And then I've got The Lost Village by Camilla Sten, and I have this on Scribd. I think it's a 9-hour audiobook, so I could probably get through that tomorrow, no problems anyway. But yeah, hopefully I will have these ones read. I don't know if I'm going to film another video or if this is just a one and done sort of deal, but yeah, a pretty successful reading day. I didn't do much else. I did go and get coffee at midnight from McDonald's because why wouldn't I? But I might start the first couple of chapters of Hide and then call it for a night. So thank you for joining me on my reading adventures today, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, friends.